Today, the topic is, yes, you can. And you know what I'm going to talk about is the hero's journey. You know, what do you have in common with, with Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz? You know, what do you have in common with those great stories of heroes we know about? Well, we're each a hero in our own right, aren't we? So the hero's journey starts with the call, like, is there something you'd like to see shifted in your life? And it's taking time to tune into that. A lot of times we don't even realize that there's something that could be different, something that could be more exciting, something that could be better. It's actually moving from, let's see if I can remember all these things. It's moving from dependency to independence. It's moving from safety to a greater sense of freedom. It's moving from indecision to decision. It's moving from where you are right now into something greater. And part of that path is actually discovering your own power and your own divinity. The ultimate hero's journey is the journey to discover that I am the presence of the divine. So what do I need to do? What am I called to do? What am I called to be? What am I called to change? I'm just wondering, think about where you are in the journey. There's several stages. There's like you feel a need for change, and then you cross the threshold and you begin to make the change. And some of you might be ready to cross the threshold. Some of you might be in the midst of turmoil already because you did it. And oh my gosh, things are different now and it seems a little weird. So crossing the threshold is a big, big deal. It's actually, I'm leaving what was behind. I'm not going to be that way or do that anymore. I'm really embracing something new. And when you do that, amazing things happen. I'm going to come around here and read you a quote somewhere. Actually, I want to talk about refusing the call first, because that is what often happens. We can be afraid to make changes, and here's why. Maybe we have a sense of duty or obligation. Maybe we're feeling insecure, that we can't really succeed at it. Maybe, or we have fears about what will happen if we do that. There's an attachment to what has been, where it's like a comfort zone. We're moving from comfort sometimes to uncomfortable and yet greater yet to be, right? And Joseph Campbell says that when we refuse the summons, when we don't heed that call to change something, he says what happens is the adventure moves into a negative way of being. It creates boredom. Maybe it creates hard work. The hero becomes a victim to be saved. So you're not, you stay in a place where you're not really the hero. You're not really in charge, right? So when you refuse the call, this is one of my favorite Bible stories, because Moses did not want to do what God wanted him to do. You remember the story of the burning bush? And Moses goes to the burning bush, and God shows up and says, take off your shoes. The ground on which you stand is holy ground. And then he tells Moses to bring his people out of Egypt. And what do you think Moses says? Oh, sure, I'll do that, God. Sure. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. No. Moses says, no. And his first thing is, who should I say sent me? They won't believe that you've told me to do this. They're not going to believe I saw you, Lord. They won't. What shall I say to them? And so God says, basically, he says, I am. Tell them I am sent you. In the Bible, it says, I am that I am. And I think if you go back to the original oldest things, it just says I am. And that didn't make sense, so it says I am that I am. But what it is this I am is something greater. The words I am are powerful. I am is the activity of the divine. When you say I am and put anything after it, you are creating. So we have to watch ourselves that we don't say I am tired, I am whatever. That's not the most positive, amazing way you want to be. So I am is the power of God. So he said that to him. Well, do you think that helped? You think Moses went, oh, okay, I'll go tell him I am sent me. And said, sure, I'll do that now, God. Nope. He says, Lord, they won't believe me. They won't listen to me. They will say, the Lord has not appeared to you. So then he shows them magic. His rod, he throws down his rod and it becomes a snake. It becomes a serpent. He pours water on the land and it dries as blood. He said, you can do these magic tricks and show them the power that I'm giving you, that this is God's power. You can prove to them that you are using my divine powers by doing these things. And you think he went, okay, good, wow, I've got magic, I can do this now? What do you think? Come on. No. He didn't say, sure, I'll do that. He said, Lord, I'm slow of speech and slow of tongue. I am not eloquent. I can't do this. And so God said, who made man's mouth? Have not I, the Lord? He says, I'll put the words in your mouth. And then he finally says, oh, Lord, please don't send me. Sometimes when we know there's a change that needs to be made, we say, oh, Lord, I don't want to do that. No, it's too scary. Or I would lose this if I do this. So God finally said to him, I will send your brother with you. And the reason he did that is he knew his brother felt like he could speak more eloquently. And so, of course, Moses went and took his people out of Egypt and saved them. The Bible, these stories in the Bible, I want to talk a little bit about the Bible because the Bible was written by men. Some people, some traditions say it is the Word of God. But it's an oral tradition. Nothing was written back then when the stories were originally told. If you've ever played gossip or telephone where you whisper something around the circle and it comes out completely different on the other end, well, these were oral traditions. They would tell stories. The Old Testament was stories that were told, and some of them were to make a point. Some of it was history, what really happened. Some of it was poetry. Some of it was letters. In the New Testament especially, there are a lot of letters from Paul. Some of it was parables, just to teach a lesson, or allegories. What the Bible really is man's exploration and understanding of the divine. And if you read the Bible from the beginning to the end, you will find that it changes. In the beginning of the Bible, God is a judgmental, sort of angry God that is only for his people. He's only for the Israelites. Everybody else is not protected by this God. By the end of the Old Testament, now he's the God of all people, believe it or not. And then when we move into the New Testament, we have the teachings of Jesus where he teaches that it is different. It is the Father within. It is the divine within us that does the works. And he teaches, these and greater things shall you do. So the concept of God in mankind's perception has evolved in the Bible, and still the Bible itself is quite old. You all know that. John Shelby Spong would say you need to look at the New Testament. You need to look at the Bible from the perspective, the New Testament, of a first century Jew, because that was the time it was written in. They thought at that time that there was a dome over the earth, and there were holes in it that let heavenly light through. That's what those stars were. It's just interesting how they perceived the world. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about the Bible now. Just had to throw it in there. So we're on our adventure, and finally Moses decided, okay, I will cross this threshold. I will make a change. I will do something different. And then what happens? Two things happen. You can find that there's a little bit of trial and tribulation. You could get a little bit uncomfortable, but supernatural powers come to you. Magic happens. In most hero stories, the movies we see, the books we read, something good comes out of that. Joseph Campbell says, one only has to know and trust, and the ageless guardians will appear. Having responded to his own call and continuing to follow courageously as the consequences unfold, the hero finds all the forces of the unconscious on his side. So when we begin to make the commitment, something happens. Even if we find it's uncomfortable, it's different, it's changing, there's something divine that is guiding us and also supporting us. I have a quote, which I wish I had put in here, which says that resources from the known and unknown will just show up in your life to support your dreams, your goals, your desires. So we've taken that step. We're there, and we're going to make a change. It could be a very small thing. It's not like a big thing. You'd write a book, learn to play the flute, It could be your divine path. It could be really deepening your awareness of God. It could just be something that will enrich yourself, like I want to travel. It would change my daily way of being in the world. It will actually broaden and expand no matter what your thing is, the thing you want to bring into your life, the thing you want to change, no matter what that is, it will expand your sense of self And I believe it will also deepen your awareness of your own divinity. So to me, that's the goal. Luke Skywalker leaves his home planet to join Obi-Wan to save the princess. Neo gets unplugged from the Matrix with the help of Morpheus and his crew. So in the departure stage, you leave the safety of the world, you enter the unknown, but you are supported. You find yourself in an amazing experience, right? When you do that, you kind of notice where the support is. You notice this crossing over. I have an amazing music director at Light of Life, the church I founded and served for 10 years. His name was Daniel Hendrick, and he was a world-renowned tenor. And he went on the hero's journey. So I want to tell you a little bit about his journey. He published a book called Know You Know. He wrote a song called Know You Know. He's a very spiritual man. When he first came to me, he was I would call him a fundamentalist Christian. But we hired him as our music director, and he was so careful. He would ask me, he would bring up songs that seemed to have a Christian bent, and he'd say, are these words okay? You know, he learned a lot of New Age music, and he eventually became a religious science minister. So, you know, that's kind of part of the end of his story. But he had challenges when he became our music director. He had been singing in Europe as a tenor in amazing places, in huge operas. And he had to give that up and come back to the States because he had children who were having problems and his wife was having problems and he needed to be here for them. And through that process, he ended up getting a divorce and being a father to his children still in that situation. And he came to us and became our music director. And in spite of having to give up what his whole life was, and one of the things that happened that he talks about in his story is even before he gave up that, as he was getting very, very well known, he lost his voice at one time. Completely lost his voice. And he talks about that time of needing to change and not even knowing why this was happening. But he found incredible support. His voice returned. He continued with his career. So he came back and did all kinds of things, but what he did is he started teaching. He teaches people that go to the Metropolitan Opera. When you go on the hero's journey, you go through all the things you go through to become what you're greater yet to be. And in the end, you return to give your gifts. And he returned to give the gift of teaching singers, but he also gave the spiritual gift because he had deepened, as he was with us for like 8 years, he had deepened his spiritual awareness. And he started a meditation group. He became a religious science minister. He started touching lives in a very spiritual way, and he wrote a lot of music. He actually wrote a whole opera, really. And he now interviews world-renowned singers, opera singers, on a podcast. I mean, you know, and he comes and sings down in San Diego area once or twice a month, and he's still like one of my deepest friends, a spiritual person. So no matter what's going on, we can do amazing things. And when something comes along like losing your voice, I lost my voice once. The question is always, what's the gift in it? What does this mean for me? When I lost my voice, I went to a family gathering, and my two aunts sat me down and said, so you lost your voice. Why do you think that is? And I could only whisper. And actually, whispering is the worst thing you can do when your voice isn't working. And I said, I think I just need to stop talking so much. They said, no, that's not what it is. I mean, that seemed evident to me. So I talk a lot. I thought I just needed to stop doing so much talking. They said, no, you're not speaking the truth. And that's what it was. And so it meant that I had to file an ethics claim against another minister and speak the truth about things that I saw going on. Sometimes, and I will tell you that right after that, my voice cleared up. Magic happened because I went to someone who looked down my throat and said, oh, your vocal cords are partially paralyzed. We don't know if this will ever get fixed. Now, that's scary. But you know, I know that anything is possible because of this faith. I know it. So when you're in that kind of situation, my spiritual practice is to feel like I'm already on the other side of it. My voice is fine. I feel it, I know it. They gave me a simple thing to do. It's I'll tell you what it is. If you ever have a problem with laryngitis, take a straw and a glass of water and blow through the straw. Here's what it does. It relaxes these muscles, because when you've lost your voice, other muscles in your neck start to tense up to try to help you speak, and it causes even more problems. So I'm blowing through anyway, very soon. I mean, like within 2 days, my voice was back and perfectly normal. Because that was kind of crushing. I was a speaker, like, I can't lose my voice. This is what I do, you know. I had no voice for 2 months before I got clear about what was going on. So part of our hero's journey is recognizing when things come up that we do have this power, and to take the steps we need to handle whatever it is, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's something that kind of goes against your human nature. As long as you know it's true, it's right, we know. I think the most important thing is speaking the truth and hearing the truth, being willing to hear the truth from others too, right? So we go through the hero's journey. We actually cross the threshold. We take any risk that there might be. We find incredible support. We grow in who we understand ourselves to be. We feel a deeper sense of the divine, and we return to give our gifts. So in Hinduism, there's a concept of 4 periods in life. You know, the first one is youth and growing. The next one's householder. The third one is interesting. It's where you go find yourself. You go into the forest and find yourself. You go away because you've done the work of raising a family, of your work in the world, and now you get time to yourself. It's that time for becoming all of you. And then the fourth step is you come back to the world and share your wisdom. And I think in our culture, we're finally awakening to the wisdom of the elder, that there's such a richness there from the life experience. They really can provide love, guidance, and faith and support in us at any stage, right? And so I know that as we go forth today, we're opening our minds and hearts to what's next for me. You know, what is it? Something little? Just clean out a closet? Is it something big? And when we do those things, big and little, we discover who we are even more fully. And we are divine. I'd like you to just repeat after me. I am divine. I am the love of God. I'm the light of God. I am a healing presence. I heal myself. I heal others. I'm so good. And so it is. I just needed to hear that really loud. Thank you so much. And so it is. And so it's time for our offertory. I'm going to ask beloved Ruth to come forward. Or no, she doesn't have to come forward. We're going to say our affirmation. She's going to pass her plate. It's up there somewhere in the ocean, right? So thank you for your generous support of the community. Really makes a difference. You help us create this, have the resources we need to do what we do here to touch lives. Ready? Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love, and so it is. So it is. And so while that is being passed around, anybody have any questions? Oh, David. Yes, David. Here comes the mic. Thank you for waiting for the microphone. David knows the drill. Yeah, he's good. Appreciate that. Hi, Bill.
Would you take a minute to share something with the congregation that is relating to this?
When we're all done?
Yeah, whenever you want to. Just something
well, you can,
very inspirational.
Yeah, well, you know what? Why don't you go get the mic from... let's wait till David finishes talking. Just go down there and he'll bring you the mic next and you can share. So, David, you're on next. And
okay. A hero came to me yesterday, and he told me of his challenge and how he had changed and healed himself. And he also empowered me, and I feel changed. It happened 2 days ago, and then he showed up the next day. It was just incredible. I feel so good right now, and I'm changing some things around, health-wise. greater health, greater peace of mind, wholeness, wellness, abundance. It's all good.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Hooray for your hero. It's wonderful. And so Bill Salem would like to share something.
Sydney Glass, also from online, just wanted to thank you for the divine lesson today, Dr. Sharon.
Oh, thank you, Sydney. Thank you so much. Good to see you. Good to hear you. I wish I could see you. All right.
I would like to share something with you that happened to me almost 40 years ago. At that time, I was very successful in business, and I thought that success was, if I am successful, that's all that counts. So I came to this center just by a call that was completely unexpected. It was December 29, 1985. And I came down, I sat down, and came here, a gentleman wearing a navy blue suit, white shirt, and a red tie, that told me that my life clicks in 86. Remember that was December 29, 1985. And his message was, I opened a door before you that no one can close. Dr. Sharon talked today, said, yes, I can. I opened a door before you that no one can close. And here I'm listening to Dr. Sharon. Here we are 40 years later. My life changed completely on that day. I studied Science of Mind 1, 2, 3, 4. I became a practitioner. I became a minister. I got my doctorate degree. I did all this. But yet, what changed my mind was I opened a door before you that no one can close. And ever since that day, I never allowed anyone to close the door that was open for me by my wonderful and divine God. And then I became successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's great. Thank you, Bill. Wonderful. Anybody else have a question, sharing, prayer request? Here we go.
I'm getting my voice here. Good morning. I would like a prayer, and I know I'm complete and whole because the spiritual woman is whole. And next Thursday, I'm having my wonderful surgery to repair my colon and my bladder. It's been a 4-month journey, and I can't thank this church, my friends, my family enough for the love and support that I have experienced. And the part that I love is that I learned a long time ago, show up, pay attention, do the work. And I've been asked to do that very diligently these last 4 months. So I would really like a prayer. And I need to show up at 5, and the surgery's at 7. And the excitement for me, because I love science, and I'm so interested in our galaxy, and I'm going to have a robot surgery with the assistance of my surgeon. So I'm very excited. But I would love to be in this whole place. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That's exciting. We'll be happy to pray for that. Yes. I love your energy about it. I love your joyful expectation. It's great. Ernest Holmes would say that we should have a calm and confident expectancy of good. And I think I would add joyful to that because that's what I'm hearing from you. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay. It's Beverly, right? I want to be sure I don't mess that up. So I think I'll just give you one more second. Anything else? Thoughts, comments, questions, prayer requests? All right, we're going to do a powerful prayer right now for Beverly and and beyond. Oops, I'm gone. There I am. Just relaxing again into the moment and recognizing that power that knows all, it's all powerful, all knowing, and everywhere. To that going, I don't know about this. Just knowing that first and foremost, it is wholeness. Wholeness in a way that is beyond our own human imagining. And so I speak a word for Beverly, knowing that the procedure are guided by the wisdom of the divine. And everything unfolds perfectly. The robots do their job, the surgeon does the job. All those providing care are completely in alignment with what is best for Beverly. And that her body is responding and bringing wholeness in every way. Every cell, every part, every particle knows its healthy, natural state, and it is moving into the way of being. I just see that, I know it. And so there's a deep sense of peace in body, mind, and spirit, and that joyful expectancy of good and healing and radiant freedom and wholeness, physical well-being. So as I speak these words for Beverly, I speak them for all who are in need of healing in any way, knowing that that power is now moving through the body, into and as every cell, energetically, radiantly moving into its natural way of being. And anything unlike what belongs, what is whole, what is right, just falls away, melts away, dissolves away, and great health is restored. I speak a word today for those in relationships, knowing that our relationships are lifted up into a place of joyfulness, that where there's a need for deeper love or connection or understanding, something wonderful is happening. The light is shining, and there's an awakening of the deeper connection. There's awakening to the deep love that connects and binds, and anything unlike that falls away. And when I look at our lives and the experience of creativity, our perfect right job, profession, I know that there's an alignment happening for anyone who's in need of that, finding the place to express their creativity, to be serving in some way, that there is, the world is calling for who they are and what they have to offer. The gifts of spirit are always available to each of us in our own unique way, and we give them freely, and we are filled up with the deeper sense of our own power, our own wholeness, our own joy, and our own divinity. And take a moment to just be grateful for the words spoken here, knowing that they're simply a revelation of what is already true. And so we step into that, we live that, we fully express and experience the divinity, and we are a healing presence for ourselves and others. We are the love of God on earth. We are the voice, we are the hands, we are the feet. We move and we live as that divine presence. So as I release this word, I just declare that it's good. I can let go now and let the divine wisdom handle the details. I just am freely being the light. And so it is. Praise God for heal the world. So good to see you all. Have a great rest of your day. Love you. This is my last talk. Cha-cha-cha. I'll be here Sunday and next week, so I'm not going away yet.